Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing a dedicated video on a brand new makeup brand that is coming to Sephora, and yes, they are coming to Sephora Canada, and it is Vanngo Beauty. I'm so excited for this launch. If you don't know who Vanngo is, he is a true artist when it comes to makeup. He is a celebrity makeup artist, and I'm sure you're familiar with some of his work. You would have seen Selena Gomez, Scarlett Johansson, just to name a couple, but if you scroll his page, it is elegant, precise, so beautiful. I'm so thankful to the team behind this to send this to me, who's a smaller channel in the grand scheme of things, and to actually be able to test everything out in adequate time in order to review it for you guys. So I'm trying everything prior to the launch. I'm very familiar with all the formulas at this point. I've been using it since it came to me, and I'm so excited to finally do my review on these products. So if you're interested in all things Vanngo Beauty, you come to the right video. I have one of each product at least to share with you my thoughts and opinions on the formula. As always, all my opinions are my own, regardless of being sent this in PR. I will let you know my honest review on all these products. For the initial launch on September 8th, there are 7 products total. I'm going to start with my personal favorite. From seeing this, you could see an artist truly made these palettes, and they're the Color Story eyeshadow palettes. There's 8 colors in total, retail for $72 Canadian, and they sent over all 8 shades, which I was shocked when I opened this, and I really wanted to try out every single palette before filming this video. So I put on Instagram a poll to see which one you guys wanted to see me use in this video, and it was predominantly the new neutral palette, which was my personal favorite of the Color Story, so I'm so happy you guys wanted to see that. But I did want to show different palettes just because if you're a makeup artist or a lover of color, I feel like this launch is for you. And when I tried these products, I felt like the packaging was very similar to NARS, which I saw that my friend Steph, Beb's Beauty, she also said that, which was so funny. I initially saw it with the lipsticks, which we'll get to, just because the packaging has that magnetic closure, and just the whole design of the square packaging just felt very similar to NARS. However, the formulas to me are on an artistry level, and I felt like specifically for the eyeshadow palettes, they really reminded me of Natasha Denona, if I could compare any sort of formulas to it. For the unit carton for the eyeshadow palettes, I love that you can see all the color stories for each palette, because all the palettes look the same without the packaging, and you have to look on the back for the name. So I'm actually going to keep the packaging for the eyeshadow palettes, which I don't typically do, but I love how you can see each of the colors on the outer packaging. I love the variety in these palettes. We have the new neutral, which I will be testing out for you guys in this video, as it was the most requested. The second most requested was Passionate Purple, which I also did a look for you. Then people wanted to see Wonderful Warm, and I really wanted to use Outstanding Orange, which was the least requested. So I wanted to make sure that I got up a look using that in this video for you guys. And then we also have Rebellious Red and Pink, Compose Cool, Generous Green and Yellow, and Brilliant Blue. They do have 4 different finishes for each of the palettes. I also wanted to say that I love seeing that there's a green palette, though I don't often use that color. I just feel like brands don't often do green palettes, so to see that one I think is really unique, and I cannot wait to do a look with that. I kind of was saving that for a trying new makeup just because I felt it would be really unique to use that one, but let me know. What palette do you also want to see me use in an actual tutorial, and I'll do that for you guys. There's said to be 4 artistry-born finishes in these palettes. So the first one is a 3D Creamy Matte. It's an innovative cream to powder formula with sensorial wax technology, which is vegan in case you're curious. And this allows for rich pigment that blends easily and locks down. We have a classic matte, which is soft, non-powdery finish, a satin, which has a high impact color and wear without glitter, and then Metallic, which is formulated with a sophisticated blend of pearls to deliver maximum reflection and luminosity. When I was swatching these palettes, specifically the lighter matte tones in each of the palettes, I found them to be very sheer and they could go on slightly patchy in a swatch just for those ones specifically. However, swatches only tell part of the story and truly you need to use them on the eyes. I didn't have any issue. I did only notice, as I said, with the lighter purple shade in that palette, that was one that I had to baby a little bit more, but that was the only shade in all the palettes that I've tried that I found I had to kind of work up, just because if you place it and don't blend, it can give that sort of patchy look, but obviously you're probably going to be blending your eyeshadow. It personally wasn't an issue for me, and I would highly recommend that palette too. All the mattes were easy to blend. The satin and metallics were punchy and just look phenomenal on the eye. I've had so much fun with these palettes, and I feel like that has been lacking a little for me lately with brand releases, that it's just been all the same. But I feel like this is such a fun, refreshing launch, specifically with the eyeshadow palettes and how they're curated color stories, that you can really pick up whatever kind of color family you like, whether it's purples, oranges, greens, blues, you name it. If you're into color or a comprehensive color story, whether it's neutrals, warms, the Kohl palette is so rich too. You will be so excited for these palettes. I know that they're gonna do well. This whole brand has me excited. Next, moving on to the second product they came out with. It's the Longwear Waterproof Precision Gel Eyeliner. There's 8 shades in total, $36 Canadian. I was reading up on this. I love this little fact they put, that 94% said the blackest black of any eyeliner they've tried, which I did have that black to try, and I can tell you that it is one of the blackest I've tried, if not the blackest. It's so creamy and glides on to the waterline with no tugging, and it says it doesn't tug, it dries matte, it checks all of those claims. It blew me away in terms of the glide on it and just how pigmented it was on my lash line. Even blending it and smoking it out for a liner for me was super easy to do, and I just did a light little bit of liner, but for tight lining, I think it's a fantastic formula because it also is waterproof. So if you're looking for a new gel liner that's waterproof, long wearing, look no further than this one, because I personally have been looking for a new black. I know a lot of you probably know this. This is the liner that I'm going to be using. Then they came out with the Soft Velvet Creamy Kohl Liner. There's 3 shades in this. $32. These are a blending and smudgeable liner, which you can smoke out. I used this specific color on my lower waterline because I wanted to do black at the top, brown at the bottom, even with some brown mascara, because I've been loving that contrasting look. So that's what I did today, though I personally would use the kohl pencil on my actual skin as opposed to my waterline, just because the gel I feel like glides better for that purpose, and it's also waterproof. The kohl is smudgeable and meant for smoking out my eyeliner for the top portion, but I did want to use the gel, so I was trying to use both formulas for this video, but I would personally use the kohl not in my waterline, and I would get more colors in the gel for my waterline just because of the formula and how easy it is to glide on and it sticks in the waterline. I still really enjoyed the kohl liner. I got the brown shade and it's a lighter brown, which I think is really pretty. So I do enjoy the color. There's only 3 shades of those, but if I were to pick one of the eyeliner formulas over the other, I would go the gel. Just personal preference, but both have their uses for an artist. If you're looking to smudge one, if you want one for waterline work, whatever the case is, I think you'd be happy with both formulas. I'm very picky when it comes to a bronzer, and this one lived up to my expectations. It's the Soft Focus Blurring Matte Powder Bronzer. I have the shade Straightforward, and I really love the color because I haven't really been self-tanning, so I do have a lighter shade of bronzer, which works perfectly for my skin tone right now. I love how big the pan is for this as well, and the undertone. I used it to slightly contour my face as well, or bronze tour, I guess. I ran it down my nose, and you could see that this buffs out really nicely as well along the hairline, because that's where I can get some sticking just because of how my forehead is so bumpy. You could see that when you put it on, and even if you put on quite a bit, you could easily blend it out and it doesn't look patchy, which is really nice and user friendly. I love how buildable this formula and how blurring it is. It kind of reminds me of Makeup by Mario's formula in terms of how it's matte and blurring, but it's not too matte. It's like a natural matte look to the skin. Not overly matte so it doesn't look drying or age you. It's just a really nice natural blurring matte finish, and it's buildable, which I love. So I really enjoyed the bronzer in this line. Then for blush, we have the very beautiful Matte Velvet Blush. There are 6 shades in total, $46 Canadian. I have the shade Second Language, which is a rose pink. They're supposed to be a creamy velvet powder blush that blends perfectly into the skin with a cloud matte finish, and they're said to wear all day. I was trying to think of what blush formula this reminds me of, and the formula itself doesn't remind me of NARS. It's just the packaging, and I feel like the formula maybe reminds me of Armani in terms of how it's not a flat matte. It has kind of a satiny natural skin finish. Not as matte as the bronzer. It definitely has more glow, so it calls it a cloud matte, but I do find there's a little bit of sheen to this specific formula, so it's not flat, which I personally really like, but don't go into purchasing this thinking it's fully matte, because at least this shade has a little bit of a glow to it. I even forego highlight today just because I felt like it gives that natural skin kind of glow, but no shimmer, glitter, nothing like that. It just has a sort of sheen to it. It's very light and subtle, which I personally love, but I wouldn't say this specific shade is fully matte. Beautiful tone. Went with a ton of looks that I did using these palettes, and I think this is a solid blush formula, but I would like to try more shades just because I don't know if that's consistent with this specific shade, so I can't comment on the other shades because I haven't tried them. It's just that specific shade I didn't feel like I would call personally matte, but maybe that's where the velvet comes in. Our next product we have is the Accentuating Longwear Lip Liner, 9 shades in total, $36 a piece. These also reminded me of Natasha Denona in terms of formula. I got the shade As Much As You Like. It's a pink nude. These are said to be an ultra pigmented creamy lip liner with a smooth gliding application for precise finish that moves with your lips all day. I do like the balance between being creamy but not too creamy. I didn't feel like it was sliding or moving all over the place. I felt like it had that perfect balance to it. This color kind of reminds me of Pillow Talk from Charlotte Tilbury, and they do have a little sharpener at the end, so you can make it a little bit more precise. I typically don't bother with lip liners like this that are retractable. I don't tend to sharpen it. I just let it be more of a dull type of pencil. If you want it a little bit sharper, you definitely have that option to sharpen it, so just know that that is there at the bottom. I personally didn't use it, and I probably won't be using it. I don't tend to, and this is the kind of color that I personally would use to fill in my entire lip just because it is long wearing, and I love the color of this one. I paired it with a lipstick you will see, though it's kind of a lighter nude for me, but I do intend to use this as an all over lip shade for me, so I don't really need to sharpen it per se, but I do also want to try another color just so I can get that kind of contrasting effect when it comes to my lip look. And this one is a little light for the shades that I personally have, so I do want to pick up another shade in this because I do like the formula. I just want to see how I can make a more gradient sort of look with a lip line if I get a little bit deeper of a shade, but overall, really solid formula. And then we have the last product they launched, which is the Creamy Matte Longwear Lipstick with hyaluronic acid. There's 14 shades, retail for $42 a piece. They sent me Vanngo Red, which is a vivid orange red. Kind of reminds me of MAC's Lady Danger, which was a go-to lipstick of mine, but a more comfortable matte. These all fall under the matte category, but I do find some of them are creamier than others, which you can actually see in the swatches how they swatch, the red being more matte than the other two, but all of them are very comfortable, but I do find the red to be a little bit more long wearing and more dry. Then we have Nothing to Lose, which is a medium nude and actually quite unique for my collection, because typically I go a lot darker than that, but I feel like that's going to look so pretty with a 90s sort of all matte look that I plan on also doing. So that is such a stunning color. And then today I'm using Wild Rose, which is a light vivid rose, and it truly is a very bright sort of pink tone, which I personally love. It really livens up my complexion and is colorful yet wearable. Like, I could still wear this with fairly dramatic eyes, but I feel like it also pops too. So it's kind of a very versatile sort of rose color. I love the pigmentation to this. I wouldn't say this is fully satin, but also not fully matte. There is still a little bit of glow to my lips specifically, but it's not drying matte, but I can feel that it sets down more as I wear it, just in terms of the formula, but it is comfortable on the lips. It says it has hyaluronic acid in it, which is good for hydrating, because it does say it's a hydrating and long-wearing lipstick formula, which who doesn't want in a matte lipstick? So again, I do feel like they differ depending on what shade that you actually get in terms of how matte the actual formula is. So just know that going in, that some of the shades are going to be a little bit more matte than others, but they say that these are intensely pigmented lipstick with a modern matte cloud finish that lasts all day, which I would have to agree with. They are long wearing. I love the colors that I have, specifically that medium nude, unique to my collection. So I'm very excited to see how I work that into certain looks. But overall, this whole launch, for it being the first launch, new brand at Sephora, I am thoroughly impressed with. I'm so excited for. I love an artist brand. I'm sure most of my subscribers know that tends to be some of my favorite brands are actual makeup artists and what they create. I've just truly fallen in love and had fun playing with all these products, and I'm so excited for you guys to get your hands on them. I hope this thorough review, swatches, demo, insights into this helps you decide what you want to pick out for launch day. I see this brand doing really, really well, and I cannot wait for you guys to try it, because I truly had so much fun and was blown away by the formulas that have come out with this launch. And I'm so thankful and grateful that I was included in this launch, which I did not expect at all. So I just wanted to again thank the team for sending this over for me, that I had adequate time to actually play around and post prior to the launch, which doesn't often happen for a lot of brands, and especially for me. Like, I'm never a part of these early releases, so I'm so thankful that I got to play around, and I actually love the brand. Let me know what your favorite eyeshadow palette was. I'd love to know, and if it's similar on YouTube to Instagram, because I want to know what you guys want to pick up for eyeshadow palettes. And also let me know what you want to see in my next trying new makeup, because I am going to take another of the palettes and use that for another video for trying new makeup, just to let you see more of the color stories. Thank you so much for watching this video. If this is my first video of yours, I would love to have you stick around by hitting that red subscribe button, the bell to be notified of all my future videos, and I will see you guys in my next one.